Well, so it's dark. We're here early today because the Badgers pregame begins at 7 a.m. We're here in the 6 o'clock hour. It is Tailgate Talk. Eric Tasker is with us. Tim Scott here, and streak is over.
Streak's over.
Streak's
I think
over.
Paul's actually in a tree stand doing
Are you in a tree stand right now?
Stand.
Wags. Tree stand or a duck blind? Which one is it?
I'll tell you what, though, maybe not yet, but come Sunday night into Monday, the cold spell is going to hit.
It's coming.
After Packer game, you sit out there Monday, possibly into Tuesday morning. It's going to be a good early next week.
It's what
coming.
I've been waiting for.
It's what both of you guys have been waiting for this for a while.
I've got 1 day out in the woods so far. I feel like I'm not really actually living up to my life here, my life goals for the fall. But I think I'm going to take 2 days off next week, and I'm gonna spend a little time in the woods, and I'm gonna just see what happens. As my buddy John Resnick has said, the first deer I see, I'm taking it. I don't care what it is.
So we are all here. It is Tailgate Talk, early Saturday morning. We're going to be in this time slot at least through next week because the Badgers, when they play Northwestern, it's another 11 a.m. kickoff. So we're here early in the 7 o'clock hour. By the way, when do we fall back again?
Are we still doing that?
Are we still doing that? The rumor was
that?
it was done. But Wags, do you know? Are we doing this? What's the deal?
We are doing it again, and I believe it is November 4th or November 6th.
November 3rd.
Yeah.
November 3rd,
yes.
okay.
We
All
are
right.
doing it.
Which would be the last day of my rutcation, as I call it, every year. That'll be our last Sunday. So,
Well, I just know this, is that I don't like driving in when it's dark.
yeah.
Not that it bothers driving in the dark. It's just, it's weird. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, and I know summer is over by the calendar. I get that. But, man, it's just, 7 a.m. sunrise. What was it, a week ago yesterday, I did a 7:10 tee time.
Okay.
And just a small course by myself,
Sure.
right? And I got to the course, and it's still dark outside.
Oh, so did you bring your glow-in-the-dark golf balls?
No, I didn't, but here's the funny thing about it, right? So I was there about, 6:50.
Okay.
Usually about 10, 20 minutes beforehand. And I thought I'd be the only one, right? Nope. There was two foursomes, dudes that had to be 65 plus. They were up already. They were in their carts. They were locked and loaded.
Wow.
They were ready to go. So
Dawn
God bless
patrol.
them. But, it was a little different. It is. So I think we agree then we don't like this time change thing, right?
Yeah,
Put
I
it back
mean,
the way it used to be where it was earlier.
The thing you have to figure out if you're going out into the woods is you have to religiously look at what time is sunrise now, because it feels like it's
That's what I
10
did when I
minutes
booked.
different.
That's what I
every
did
day.
when I booked that tea time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice in the sense that, okay, turkey season, you're probably getting up at 3:30 to be out in the woods, to be set up, to be ready, well in advance. Well, now, you could probably get up at 5 o'clock and be ready by that time.
And, and Wags, the other question I have about this is that how does this affect the animals? I mean, how do they adjust to this, or is it just it doesn't bother them at all?
Yeah, it doesn't bother them at all. They just they don't know what our phones or our watches say. They just go by how the sun sets and the sun rises. So the only thing being is though now that instead of that 6 o'clock, that 6 to 6:30, that sunset, the little bit of time after, now it's all of a sudden it's before 5 o'clock, and you're out and about, can't even see anymore at 5:30ish, 5:15, especially if there's still canopy cover in the woods. I come out of the woods sometimes when that daylight savings kicks, as long as most of the leaves are blown, but if not, still coming out of the woods. Sometimes you come out of there, it looks pitch black, and then you come out and you're like, whoa, it's I can still see a little bit in front of me. But no, the animals are pretty good. They follow the pattern of the sun. That's when they work.
All right, let's do this. I want to take a quick break. All right, let's make this first segment short. I want to take a break. Come back on the other side, Eric. I know you're locked, loaded. You got a lot of stuff you want to get into in the show today. So we're going to do that in just a bit. We've got to plug our sponsors. We'll do that in a bit too. So we'll take a quick break. We are here early this morning. It's Tailgate Talk. Stay with us more as we continue here on the game. With a name like Piscataway, was there ever a stop in your career, your long, storied professional career, that you went, wow, that's a weird name for a city, a town, a village, something like that?
You know, you really can't. When you come from Wisconsin and you have Waukesha, Oconomowoc, you have Menominee, you have a lot of different. We have a lot of different names here. I never really came across anything that really startled me at all, and I may have gotten lost in a few and may have forgotten a few, but
I wasn't going to bring that up
right now.
Yeah, I was going to leave that part of the story out of it, you know.
Podunk wherever, and Wags is off in a cornfield somewhere.
Well, and the only way that Wags would remember where he was is if they gave him a free hat. That's why, see?
Right.
So you had that free cap, you'd be all set. That's
free
right.
hat.
That's right. So you got a stack of papers there, my friend. What's rolling?
Yeah,
today?
well, you know, I was thumbing through a few of these outdoor news articles here. I mean, I look like I'm more prepared than I am.
Well, here's the funny thing about this, Wags. He actually has papers in his hand.
Yeah.
I honestly cannot tell you the last time I have held any newspaper in my hand, outside of maybe using it to start a bonfire. That's
right.
it.
Yeah,
That's
the Clipper ads that come through the mail.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's funny. So I have 3 of them in my hand right now because every time that my dad accumulates a few of them, he's still a subscriber for Outdoor News, the old-fashioned version. He actually gets, you know, the printout. And I've gotten like anywhere between 3 and 6 of them at a time, and he's like, "Oh, here, I'm sure you want to look at these." I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
Thanks, Dad.
I mean, I thumb through them, but they usually just go for fire starter, you know, because anything I can pretty much find online. You know, so I have a couple different things here. One is mostly just like a gripe and a complaint that I have that I feel like we've overdone a little bit, but there was a recent article in the Outdoor News that kind of calls out. I think it's kind of funny because the DNR has sent out a number of emails about, hey, this, you know, upcoming bow season is starting. Hey, duck season is starting, goose season, all of these like friendly reminders that they do. And there was an article that was written this week that actually made note of those, and it's titled "Wisconsin DNR Keeps Ignoring the CWD Elephant in the Room." And, you know, a big part of this is just kind of calling out the fact that they send out these big articles that they give you the reminders for check your firearms, check your tree stands, check your equipment, do all of that. And they kind of mislead you into thinking that there hasn't been reminders about CWD. And I think basically the brunt of this is that they're basically just saying that why do they continue to make CWD a thing, but they don't bring enough awareness to it? Well, my complaint or my gripe about it is until we have actually figured out what CWD meat does to humans, why do we keep fear-mongering the problem? Okay,
because it's good for headlines.
It's good for headlines.
Yeah.
You know, I recently talked to one of the people who used to be on the NRB board, and come to find out it's like $25 to $35 for each one of the tests that a person submits for a CWD sample. Now, the DNR is covering all of those costs currently. It's free testing. What they're doing is if you happen – currently, as it stood before this season, what would happen is if you sent in your deer, it takes about 2 weeks to get a turnaround. If you happen to shoot a buck or an antlered deer that you would get a new tag issued to be able to harvest another buck. If because of the number of doe tags or antlerless tags that were out there, you would not get another one. I don't believe you would get another one. This year they changed that rule. You get an either sex tag in replacement of your tag that you would fill that will come back CWD positive. I happen to know a guy that shot a buck last year, happened to come back CWD positive. He went out 2 weeks later, shot another buck, and it was like the greatest season of his life. So maybe misfortunate, maybe it is very fortunate. But the comment that I got back from them was, we're spending all of this money on just testing, but it's not getting us anywhere. So we're not actually getting to the root of a problem. We're only limiting baiting in these, 65 or 68 out of 72 counties in the state. It doesn't seem to be curbing the issue. So why don't we, if we are already using a ton of our budget to pay for all of this testing that happens out of the DNR budget, if you are concerned about CWD, say there's something that doesn't look right with your deer and you do want to get it tested, why don't you pay for the CWD testing? And I'm sure people are not going to be happy about that, because then they would be on the hook for it. Or why wouldn't it be subsidized so that the DNR could take, say, half of that money? If it's $25, you got to pay $12.50. And they can use at least half of that money or all of that money, as I would do, to try and figure out what they can do to try and curb this problem.
Wags, what is your guess? Wags?
You got me?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, what is your guess? What is your guess?
Well, I guess my biggest concern is that I just looked this up as we were talking. It says currently there is no scientific evidence that CWD has or can spread to humans either through contact with or the consumption of an infected animal. So, going back to what he said, if you want it tested for your own, let's just say your own sense of, let's just say you believe a conspiracy theory that if you eat infected venison or elk or something to that effect, that it may affect you. Believe me, we have tests on everything. If there's no evidence, I think this is, I don't know. If it looks bad, if it smells bad, don't eat it. If it looks malnourished, if it looks, let it go or shoot it, put it out of its misery. Do whatever you have to do. Contact the DNR and follow, obviously, laws and regulations. But I just don't. It'd be different if I was seeing a direct effect from this man he gutted, he field dressed a CWD deer and his hand fell off. Or this guy.
Well, okay, that would cause a lot of attention there.
This guy ate CWD venison and he's been constipated for 4 months.
But here's the problem with this, right? Okay, you are applying common sense. And common sense doesn't apply, especially when it comes into government entities and that type of stuff, right? What I think is going on is there's a strong belief within the DNR or whomever oversees this that it will happen. It's just a matter of when. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out in front of this.
Sure.
And we're going to control this, because the worst thing that can happen is that we let Eric Tasker, no, it looks good. And then you go home and you eat some meat that's contaminated.
Right.
And you're ground zero. You're the guy.
I'm the guy
that made that leap from the deer to the human. And they don't want that to happen on their watch.
Right.
And so I truly believe that their mindset is it's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
It's evolution. These things will happen. It's just a matter, because they'll say, listen, humans are just another species, right? And it's just, we've seen it jump from one species to the next. Why isn't it possible to jump to us? It just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Over time.
I also believe in aliens.
Wags, what were you saying?
CWD was first discovered. I looked this up as I was looking up that other content. CWD was first discovered in 1967.
Yep.
77, 87. I mean, like you said, it could. I mean, we've been dealing with it now with even the blue tongue out west for 20 years, 25. I mean, there's been a few generational cycles with those animals since, let's just even go back to 1967. There's generational cycles with those animals. What the average white-tailed deer in the state of Wisconsin lasts maybe, what does it say, 1.9 or 2.3 years old?
Yeah.
And let's just go 20 years. That's 10 generations of CWD, and we haven't seen any direct effect on a human through contact or consumption. I get it. I see what you're saying, Tim. Yeah, you don't want to be that first one, but I think you're digging down that rabbit hole, hoping. Like is the DNR, is the regulations, are they hoping somebody gets affected so that they can, do so? I don't know.
So they can be right. So they can finally have that standpoint of, we were fearful of this, it's been now proven. So one of the comments on this article I thought was really interesting. We have a big issue with predation in the state, and I'm a firm believer that that's probably the biggest hindrance of our population outgrowing what we can handle in a hunting capacity. So whether that's coyotes, bears, wolves, whatever that might be, obviously we're seeing that very differently in different parts of the state. One of the comments that were posted on this was, if CWD is actually killing off so many of these deer, why don't we see deer all over the woods? Or why aren't we seeing an uptick of all of these animals that are found out in the wild, if it is truly as big of a concern as what they're making it out to be?
I think what they're doing, Eric, is they're pointing to history. And they're going to go back, and they're going to go back into ancient times when you had, the anthrax, and you had all these other diseases.
Right.
My counter to that is, it's 2024. We just had a worldwide epidemic, right? That pandemic, whatever it was,
right,
with COVID. And yes, it was tragic. Yes, tons and tons and tons of people lost their lives.
Yeah.
But yet, we were able to find a cure, a vaccine for that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like it was back in,
right.
When they had the different things that happened historically. But I still believe there are some out there, and maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
That, what? Let's just make sure that we keep it going, because it's good for business. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the wrong thing to say?
No, I don't think so, because I think that's kind of how a lot of these entities run themselves. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Wags, about how you feel about it. I know this.
Like there's no CWD. There's no government federal aid funding for CWD studies. I think you're right. Conspiracy theory, is it good for the bad? Is it bad for the good? Who knows what it is? But I think there's some life behind what you just said.
Yeah, I think probably two of the most reliable places that I would go for on information on this is the MSU Deer Lab, which is the Mississippi State University Deer Lab, because they do an incredible amount of research on the deer population. And the other one would be the NDA, the National Deer Association, where they have done a number of these studies as well. And, it just all continues to point back to, it's a problem, but until we actually have a solution on how to manage it, stopping baiting or banning baiting, that's obviously not the cure, because it continues to happen. They're still foraging in the same areas. There might be a bean field or whatever that might be. They're still doing all of that. So where does that actually assist? I mean, sure, it might help slow the spread of it, but I don't know. You were saying evolution and talking about evolution and all that, and it's like, well, yeah, but how long? Okay, so it's been around for 60 years now. How long until deer are naturally able to fight this off? Who knows?
Right. They drink out of the same water holes. They eat out of the same bean fields that are there. There's a cob on the ground. I just saw it this week out west in Richland Center, and they're not the corn cobs. They were kind of picked off. They were knocked off, but the harvesting of the beans, there's a pile of beans there. They're eating out of the same pile. There's saliva exchange. There's saliva exchange through the watering holes and I don't know. Gosh, it's just a slippery slope. But the bottom line is, I look at it. There is no scientific evidence that human contact or consumption has a negative effect on the human body.
So, on a happier note, I have to tell you about my experience here at the Megaplex this week. We've talked about how this has become a wildlife area here. Mm-hmm. I was taunted by turkeys this week. Taunted by turkeys.
Were they out front or out back?
I parked my car out back,
and
they come strolling past the satellite dish there, right? And I looked at them, and I made a goofy turkey call just to see, what they do.
Yeah.
They looked at me like, you're a freaking idiot. We know who you are, and we run this place now.
You don't sound like one of us.
No. I'm like, okay, now you're taunting me because they know we can't do anything about it.
I know.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, it's. I saw another nice buck this morning, so now it's starting to get a little cold out, and it was not the Santa Claus one that I saw last week, so it was a different one. And it was actually kind of funny because I saw it was for sure the biggest deer that I've seen this year. And then I also saw legitimately the smallest buck that I've seen this year because it only had one antler. It didn't even have both sides. It just had one spike pointing up, and it was right next to this probably, 150 class, 160 class 8-pointer it's so cool that we have that here. I can't tell you how many of my friends are jealous that I send them these 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning. They're always getting messages from me. They're like, how cool is that you have a flock of turkeys in your parking lot? And it's like, well, yeah, it's cool until you can't get out of your truck because they're sitting there gobbling at you, threatening you.
So, Wags, the other thing, too, people were really concerned about your health and welfare after your story last week about the bird that you thought that had gone off to the marsh in the sky. So did you have any issues this weekend as far as completing the kill? That's what they want to know.
I did not get a chance to go out and bird hunt. I did not bird hunt only because I'm trying to get everything ready for, obviously, the deer season coming up. I know the next couple of weeks, the temperature change. I'm still seeing a lot of buck bachelor, groups. They're not necessarily fighting. Where rattling is taking place. They're nudging each other, rattling horns for maybe a second or two. But that's about it because I know this time is coming. So I put down the bird gun, and I'm just trying to straighten everything up really quick because I think it's going to come quick. And as we look, we assume that cold weather drop is going to come. So many different weather things going on throughout the country, both good and bad. So you'd never really know. And again, no disrespect to a weatherman and all the schooling he went to, but the old saying, if that's true, it is true. 50% right, 50% wrong, and the weathermen are usually wrong.
Yeah,
I will tell you, my brother-in-law, who's a police officer, who has weathered the storm, and what they've gone through in Tampa, in Florida, in that area right now, you can't send enough prayers their way. What the footage we saw this week was staggering.
Yeah.
And to compound it, it was just not like the West Coast of Florida thing. It was the whole state that was impacted by this.
Yeah.
And when you saw the roof come off the top of Tropicana Field, and some of the other things, it's going to take months. It will take years to put that state back together again because back-to-back hurricanes, it's crazy.
It's crazy. We are hopefully harvesting animals, and they do wild game processing, but you got to get there early, and it's not at their normal butcher shop on 91st and Burleigh. Yeah. It's 84th and Burleigh. They actually have their meat processing plant there. They only take a limited number each day, but if you get there early, it's worth it to be there. And you know what? If you're already used to being up early, getting out into the woods, you probably want to get your deer in so that you can preserve as much of that as possible. You get all of their great recipes. You can get all their wild game recipes that or sausages and everything that they do there. And we love their regular brats. We love their regular burgers. I can only imagine what it would be like if we had venison in those. So
be a good mix.
It would be. It would be good. So that's always good. But you know what? I keep thinking about them because we always run in there and we'll get like, I think we talked about like the Al Capone roast and some of those things that they do there. We usually grab something like that for one of our dinners. We try and do a really good job of kind of planning ahead when we go up for 9 days or 10 days and making sure that we've got, dinner so we're not always eating out. It's kind of fun to cook at camp, and it never hurts to stop in there and stock up. Bring a cooler, get ready for your adventures in the woods, and especially if you're going away for a weekend or a week or whatever that might be, stop in. They'll make sure to take care of you.
And if you don't have the big family or the big group you're trying to feed, they've got that monthly meat deal too, don't they?
Monthly meat deal. They've always got it.
Fantastic.
And, it's perfect for, if it's just you or if it's just you and a significant other. 2 boneless pork chops. It's basically, I look at it as like a week's kind of worth of food. $20, 24 cents. 2 boneless pork chops. So there's Monday. 2 homemade beer and onion brats. Okay, maybe that's a lunch. That's probably a
for
lunch.
you.
1 whole or cut up chicken, a pound of ground chuck, and 2 chicken patties. So, a nice little variety, but also, a good amount for $20. I mean, it's dirt cheap.
That's good eating, Wags. You know that. We had a chance to sample some Bunzel stuff this summer on the anniversary show. That's good eating, isn't it, my friend?
It's very good, and whenever we can bring, whenever he can bring more for us to sample, I think me and you would be up for the task. I think I'd love to sample whatever you want to bring in.
Yeah, if it's free, it's for me. I mean, that's the motto I roll with. There's no doubt.
That's the way we do it.
Exactly.
So,
and you know what? If you're going to have 2 brats, you want to do this in moderation, but you should have some Busch Light too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that time. I mean, what? And Wags, I was going to send you a picture of this. I finally found the camo cans.
You finally found the camo cans?
I finally found the camo cans. Yeah,
I've got camo cans in my fridge. I've had them there for 2 weeks.
I know. Well, I haven't been in the grocery store much, so.
You got to get it.
The Busch Light camo cans are out and about. Now we just need to harvest something nice and sit around the bonfire and crack one open.
Here's what you need to do, see? And he was all set. I know the photo op was ready. And then that damn duck woke up and ran away.
Right? It's still so funny.
Yeah.
That's such a typical what would happen to one of us in the woods. That would happen to one of us in the woods.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's the stuff that happens to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So, final segment of the show today. Talked a lot about CWD earlier, and that is still a hot button issue.
It's crazy.
It's not going to go away anytime soon. What else are you cooking on today?
Well, I've found it kind of interesting. They're saying that, so I'm kind of misunderstanding this article. There was an article about deer sightings projected to be up again this year, and a couple of the things that work in favor for us. So you guys may or may not have realized this, but the bow season is this year. It falls in a window where it's most likely the longest bow season that we'll have because of dates with opener date and some of that. Talking about taking advantage of that. And gun season is also the latest that it could possibly start this year. November 23rd. That's really
right.
late.
Yeah. My son and I were talking about that. And I
of
was
the way
looking
the
at
weeks
football
fall.
schedules and stuff. And he goes, "No, Dad, it's late this year. It starts November 23rd." And I'm like, "Really?"
Yes.
I think, and I've got to check, Thanksgiving is, the Packers have that weird schedule this year where they play on Thanksgiving night.
28th.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it blows up traditional Thanksgiving, I guess, in a sense. But from a hunting standpoint, that's okay. It's a Thursday.
Right.
You know what I mean? That means that if you're going to finish strong, you've got Friday, you've got Saturday, and you've got Sunday. Go out and hit it hard one more time, right?
Yeah, and that's where, I don't know. People get really worked up about it. I look at gun season as always being after the peak of the rut, no matter when it starts.
Right.
So you're still going to get your movement. There might be does that go into heat late. I always look at it as if you really want to be active during the rut, you got to be active the first week of November, the last week of October.
Right.
Kind of tapering into like that 8th, 9th, 10th kind of date. You know, maybe that's the tail end of really, really peak rut for us here in the state. But I think everything might be out of whack this year. I mean, you look outside and it's like the leaves are hardly even changing. It's been so warm lately. I really am curious how that's going to disrupt does going into heat this year. I know that they're pretty, and I think we talked about it last year. I think it's more on the daytime. As the days get shorter, they process off of that, not off of temperature. I don't know. I'm not super smart, so don't take my word for it. But it's interesting.
It sounds good.
As long as it sounds good. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot of different things that are happening with that this year, and being later, I know that kind of sends a lot of people into a tailspin. So I don't know, Wags. I mean, I think we're kind of on the same page with that. Maybe you have different thoughts on it.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think that's what it's been kind of shifted towards closer heavy chasing time with the gun season. And this, like you just say, being pushed back the furthest, that's where the gun people will be like, you know what? We haven't seen as much movement. These bow hunters are harvesting so many large animals. They're doing this and this and this. Because I do think it is based on time. I do weather effects, sun, whatever you want to say. But I think the timing has generally been very, very consistent. So a late gun season, I almost see that into the time where those bucks are hunkered down, sleeping later, moving, becoming more nocturnal because they've been worn out for the last 4 weeks,
Sure.
running and chasing. So I do believe we will see, I could be wrong, but I would say just off the cuff, lower harvest numbers for this year's gun season.
Yeah, it will certainly be interesting. I mean, hopefully all of us notch a couple tags. And like I said, I mean, last year I kind of got skunked, and my dad just took a small doe during the bow season. And I think I'm ready to tag a few. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm going to be particular about things, but I'll tell you this, man. I know we've been kind of going back and forth about trail camera pictures. My trail cameras have been dead. I think I got a raccoon in there like the other day, but it's like almost a week since I've actually had good activity in front of my cameras. So a little concerning, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a game time decision, something with antlers. I'm going to maybe pull back on it.
So, boys, what do you got cooking on this weekend? How about you, Wags? We'll start with you. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I got some things going on down at Milford Hills. I have to do a couple, we got little events going on, so I'll be running around pretty much. But I'm going to be planning on that Monday, Tuesday, this week, next couple days. I want to get everything ready. I want to go sit at night